So, you're doing agile practices like daily stand up, working in 2 week iterations, using software to manage your backlog, holding planning sessions, and pointing stories using a modified Fibonacci series. But agile is not about practices. It's a mindset, a philosophy, led by principles over practices. The practices should flow from and support the principles. If you knew that you wanted to follow the principles of continuous education, high code quality, shared understanding, cross-functional and autonomous teams, then that might lead you to implement pair programming, podding, or mob problem solving. Instead, when the practices are placed first without an understanding of the principles, they may slow or freeze a team's ability to improve and deliver, holding them back from their true potential. For example, everyone knows that during the daily stand up, you stand up, and most know the reason why to keep the stand up to 15 minutes or less. But I've seen far more stand ups where everyone is standing, but the meetings last for far more than 15 minutes. They're more focused on status reporting than forming the plan. Taking a closer look at this, the principles behind the stand up are to form your team's daily battle plan, find out what needs to get done that day, and then get to it. Can you do this sitting down? Of course you can. I've worked with people with back problems, people using wheelchairs, and expectant mothers. I've held super effective stand ups where everyone is sitting on comfy couches, sitting around a morning breakfast table, or on beanbags. Insisting on the practice of standing up in a daily scrum meeting is the letter of the law, where the practice is held more important than the principle. Forming a quick battle plan for the upcoming day, avoiding daily hour-long status meetings, making sure stories don't get stuck, those are the true principles and outcomes that should drive the practice. Okay, but you should definitely ask the 3 questions in the daily stand-up meeting. What did you do yesterday? What will you do today? And are there any impediments? Maybe. But I've heard so many people say it's about holding people accountable. If that's the thought process going in, then the results will suffer. The principle, once again, is to form today's battle plan on what needs to get done and how. If you go for the accountability angle, that usually leads to finger pointing and blame, which leads to defensiveness and people reporting about how much work they did yesterday. Instead of hearing what stories got worked on, you hear more about who they met with and how long, and other work that kept them from working on the plan. And ultimately, the result will be stories that take days, weeks, or months to get done. It's about the principles, not the practices. So it's worth exploring what the underlying principles are behind the practices you go through the motions of every day. Or as Josh Karyowski, the CEO of Industrial Logic, an Agile pioneer, practitioner, and founder of the modern Agile movement, points out simply, Agile is an adjective. Think of a gymnast or a cheetah. Agile is an adjective. It means characterized by a ready ability to move with quick ease and grace, or having a quick, resourceful, and adaptable character. Now, picture your team and how that word agile, as an adjective, as a measure applies. Is your team characterized by a ready ability to move with quick ease and grace? Or is it bogged down by process, bureaucracy, hierarchy, roles, racy charts, hours of planning, and grooming sessions a week? Josh states there are 4 core principles behind modern Agile. Deliver value continuously. Make safety a prerequisite. Experiment and learn rapidly. And make people awesome. Steve Jobs used to ask his colleagues, what incredible benefits can we give to the customer? In modern Agile, we ask how we can make people awesome. This includes the people who use, make, buy, sell, or fund our products or services. We learn their context and pain points, what holds them back, and what they aspire to achieve. How can we make them awesome? Consider the product that would be made if the mindset was to make an awesome camera. What features would it have? What would the ideal demographic customer look like? What experience would they need to have to get the best out of it? Now, imagine if your mindset was to make people awesome photographers. What features would the camera have? How would the demographic change? What knowledge or experience would they need if your mindset was to make them awesome? What's the difference between making an awesome airline and making customers awesome at travel? Which viewpoint leads to higher customer happiness? Which would lead to more bookings, more value to the customer, and more customer recommendations? Make safety a prerequisite. Safety is both a basic human need and a key to unlocking high performance. Abraham Maslow was a psychologist who studied positive human qualities and lives of exemplary people. He expressed his findings in his book titled Motivation and Personality and created the hierarchy of human needs. He found that safety was second only to basic physiological needs such as breathing, eating, and sleep, and it was key for high performance. With modern Agile principles, we actively make safety a prerequisite by establishing safety before engaging in any hazardous work. We protect people's health, time, money, information, relationships, and reputation, and we endeavor to make our collaborations, products, and services resilient and safe. Deliver value continuously. Anything that isn't delivered isn't helping anyone become more awesome or safe. In modern Agile, we ask ourselves, how could valuable work be delivered faster? Delivering value continuously requires us to divide larger amounts of value into smaller pieces that may be delivered safely now rather than later. Experiment and learn rapidly. You can't make people awesome or make safety a prerequisite if you aren't learning. We learn rapidly by experimenting frequently. We make our experiments safe to fail, so we're not afraid to conduct more experiments. And when we get stuck or aren't learning enough, we take it as a sign that we need to learn more by running more experiments. The fact that Agile is an adjective comes first. It's guided by principles, not practices, and then can be realized in unlimited ways. My name is Travis, and I'd love to discuss Agile topics. I'd really like to know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think. To find out more about Modern Agile, you can go to modernagile.org.